chilling specter is rising in the Pacific. It's not a monster from the deep, but a geopolitical storm brewing between world powers. Imagine, if you will, a region once considered a tranquil expanse, now on the verge of becoming a powder keg. The uneasy peace in the Far East is cracking as an alliance of nations, spurred by a growing apprehension, prepares to challenge a resurgent Russia. This is not just a naval exercise, it's a calculated move with far-reaching consequences. The echoes of historical conflicts resonate, warning of a potential clash that could reshape the balance of power in the region. The question isn't whether this will escalate, but how far. We are about to delve into the heart of this conflict, a complex dance of strategy, technology, and raw military might. There are 7 chapters to unpack, each revealing a layer of this developing crisis that could redraw the map of global influence. Buckle up, because the road ahead is turbulent. Chapter 1: The Russian Bear in the Far East. Russia's recent missteps on the global stage, particularly its involvement in Ukraine, have not gone unnoticed. The once feared military machine is now engaged in a grueling war of attrition, stretching its resources and capabilities. Simultaneously, NATO's expansion into the Baltic and Scandinavian regions, as well as the restriction of Russia's influence in Africa via Syria, has left the Kremlin feeling increasingly isolated and vulnerable. Now, a new front is opening, this time in the Far East, where a coalition of nations is challenging Russia's maritime dominance. This shift in the geopolitical landscape signals a potentially monumental struggle for control in the Pacific region, once considered a bastion of Russian naval power. This is not a game of chess, but a high-stakes gamble where the very foundations of geopolitical power are at stake. The stakes have never been higher, and the consequences are potentially catastrophic. The first moves in this confrontation are already underway. Chapter 2: The UK-Japan Alliance, a Pacific checkmate. The United Kingdom and Japan, with the backing of the United States, are embarking on a joint military strategy designed to constrain Russia's naval ambitions in the Pacific. This alliance marks a significant shift in the region's power dynamics. The plan is not simply a show of force, but a carefully orchestrated series of actions, including joint military exercises, designed to make the region less prone to Russian expansionism. The UK, with its naval history and experience in global power projection, joins forces with Japan, a nation historically wary of Russian expansionism, to provide a unified front. The aim is clear: to deter Russia from any further naval advancements in the Pacific, and to challenge its status as a major naval power in the region. This alliance is a clear message to Moscow. Its ambitions in the Far East will be met with formidable resistance. The year 2025 is set to be a pivotal moment in the region, with this alliance taking center stage. Chapter 3: Military Drills and Naval Power Projection. Starting in 2025, the UK and Japan, alongside the United States, will ramp up regular military exercises in the Indo-Pacific, which includes the North Pacific Ocean. These are not just casual drills, but a serious and concerted effort to enhance the ability of each country's armed forces to operate in unison. For the UK, this marks a significant deployment of its naval assets in the region, including the deployment of the aircraft carrier HMS Prince of Wales to the region. These exercises are not just for training purposes. They are also meant to signal resolve and a commitment to maintaining the balance of power in the area. The constant training and interoperability testing are a demonstration of a combined Western power projection that is a powerful counterweight to Russia's ambitions. These operations will serve as a constant reminder to Russia that any aggressive actions will be met with a united and overwhelming response. Chapter 4: The Undersea Threat and Cold War Echoes. While much attention is focused on the surface naval presence, the real threat, arguably, lies beneath the waves. The Russian Pacific Fleet, despite a reduction in ground forces, is steadily building up its submarine force, with particular emphasis on modernizing its nuclear ballistic missile submarines. This resurgence of submarine activity, coupled with satellite imagery showing increased activity by the Russian submarine fleet north of Japan, has raised serious concerns in Tokyo. The situation recalls the Cold War era when the Sea of Japan and the Sea of Okhotsk were strategic flashpoints. The specter of Russian submarines once again patrolling these waters, particularly with nuclear ballistic missile capabilities, has spurred Japan to deepen its security alliance with the UK and the US. The shadow of past submarine conflicts in the area adds a palpable sense of urgency and risk to the present situation. This submarine resurgence brings back a chillingly familiar risk, but this time with higher stakes and more advanced technology. Chapter 5: The Sea of Okhotsk, a new fortress. The Sea of Okhotsk has become a key strategic location, transforming into a fortress for Russia's Pacific Fleet, reminiscent of the Barents Sea for the Northern Fleet. This has spurred the placement of ground forces, surface-to-ship missiles, air defense systems, and even the conversion of a caldera on Simashir Island into a submarine base. The echoes of the Cold War era can be heard in the current buildup, with historical naval operations in areas such as the Tsushima Strait re-emerging. This strategic shift highlights the importance of this region for Russia's nuclear deterrent capabilities, making it a focal point for the emerging military challenges. This is not just about submarines patrolling the sea. It's about securing Russia's strategic deterrent, and the buildup speaks volumes about Moscow's future plans and its vision of a global presence. The Sea of Okhotsk, once a quiet expanse of water, is now the front line in a high-stakes geopolitical game. Chapter 6: Changing Alliances and Shifting Sands. The geopolitical landscape is further complicated by the fact that Russia, once wary of China's presence in the region, now appears to be actively collaborating with the People's Liberation Army Navy. Joint naval exercises, including those in the Sea of Okhotsk, and joint bomber patrols in the Arctic, suggest a deeper strategic alignment between Moscow and Beijing. These joint operations in the waters around Japan, once off-limits to the Chinese, have complicated the security situation and added a new layer of concern to the already tense dynamics. This shift has significant implications for the balance of power in the region, with the US and its allies facing challenges from multiple, increasingly aligned adversaries. This new level of cooperation adds a complex new dimension to the region's security. It is not just a regional conflict anymore, but a part of a larger global power play. Chapter 7: The Unexpected Move and a Final Warning. The increasing activity of Russian nuclear submarines in the Sea of Okhotsk, coupled with Chinese naval presence and the potential threat to underwater infrastructure, poses a significant challenge to the US-Japan alliance. Japan is now enhancing its defense capabilities, but these are limited in the face of multiple threats. The UK's commitment to a stronger presence in the region is essential to deter Russia and maintain stability. This could lead to a further expansion of security cooperation networks, potentially including South Korea. This cooperation is needed to maintain balance of power in the North Pacific. But the biggest unknown is the potential for the deployment of the nuclear-powered submarine Belgorod, a platform known for the Poseidon nuclear drone, which could be used to destroy critical undersea infrastructure in the Pacific. This move would completely destabilize the current balance and add another layer of danger to the ongoing military confrontation in the region. However, and here's the twist, intelligence sources indicate that Belgorod is not headed to the Pacific, but instead has turned west. No one is sure where it is going, and that is the biggest fear of them all. This is a threat unlike any other. The stage is set, but the final act is far from written, and what happens next is anyone's guess. We've covered a lot today. Don't go anywhere, because in a moment we will present our conclusions on the situation. Thank you for watching this analysis. It is clear that the Pacific region is becoming increasingly volatile. The alliance of the UK, Japan, and the US is a response to a growing Russian naval presence, supported by an increasingly emboldened China. The strategic importance of the Sea of Okhotsk and the resurgence of Russian submarine power are worrying developments. The deployment of the Belgorod and the Poseidon system, coupled with the possibility of an attack on underwater infrastructure, is a real threat to stability in the region. The geopolitical chess game in the Pacific is far from over, and the next moves could have far-reaching consequences. Stay tuned for further updates on this rapidly evolving situation.